relation with respect to some context that one truth is said of A and said of B, and by implicated fashion.
Yeah, what you just stated doesn't, like diminish the definition which I proposes. Because like, you're just saying absolute identity is self-relational, meaning that for X to be identical to X.
How is this relevant to what is called?
Because you're saying my definition which I gave wasn't suitable, which it is. Because I'm saying
no, it's not about suitable. I said it's not satisfactory of what is it called. It's not informative to what the formal standards would cash it out as, because you didn't mention anything about by implication relations. You didn't mention anything about that sort. You just standardly said reflectivity, transitivity. One moment. Hold on. Just a moment. You said the reflexivity, transitivity, and symmetry. But there are identity theories that mention symmetry, reflexivity, and transitivity. Are they numeric identity? No, they're not.
Yeah, so you're not. Reflexivity is going to be the indication for.
Let me finish. So you didn't give like a formal account. That's number one. Number two, again, the argument still stands. The functional opposition still has to carry over to the absolute aspect by virtue of the fact they satisfy an equivalency relation between the absolute and relative aspect, between the absolute aspect, which is the absolute active existence, i.e. pure existence, and the relative realities, which are the persons. They're one and the same in reality. Hence, I believe the functional opposition carries over to the absolute aspect. That's number one. Number two, so I already assessed the function appeal. So given that fact, I still believe, given that Jesus does not satisfy an equivalency relation of paternity, and paternity satisfies an equivalency relation in relation to pure existence. Hence, you're going to be saying Jesus, given the stance, the assumption is pure existence, and given what I've just cashed out, is not pure existence.
Yeah, I really gave you what's a good explanation to show how that isn't the case concerning like relations. And the idea of it is just being repetitive for this speaking.
But that one is just begging a question. I addressed that because I told you, look, the only thing repetitive, 1 minute, it's repetitive. I'll tell you why it's repetitive. Because it's repetitive in the sense it's just repeating what it's saying, i.e. it's just begging a question. You're just saying the function of opposition doesn't carry over because it's a relation, hence the function of opposition doesn't carry over, hence it's a relation. That's begging a question. That's not telling me much. I'm giving you an account. I'm telling you, G1, this is what I believe and this is why I believe it. I'm giving you an account. I told you because there's an equivalency relation satisfied, that's why it has to carry over to the absolute aspect.
Yeah, I really told you, but when it comes to like this like aspect in which you're trying to portray isn't going to be the case, and I gave you information to show you why that isn't, and it's just being repeated. There's no point, bro.
What do you mean there's no point? Listen, hold on. Where do you deny my line of reasoning? I told you since they're satisfactory of an equivalency relation therein, it's not going to tell me much. The only appeal you've made is just begging a question. You repeated the stance. That's not going to tell me much. I've given you an account. I told you why, and then I've inferred the conclusion. You didn't tell me anything. You inferred the same conclusion from the premise.
I didn't infer or reiterate.
So why doesn't hold on. So let's walk this through. Why? Look. I told you because the relative aspect has the functional opposition that carries over to the absolute aspect by virtue of, keep in mind, by virtue of, I'm giving an account because they satisfy an equivalency relation within an extensional lens. Now, how do you assess this? And I've given you an example of water and the identity system between water and H2O.
Yeah, an example, the example with like water and H2O, right? The example is not really going to be sufficient in this case, right? Since like there isn't going to be like a semantical difference when it comes to like H2O.
There is a semantical difference. What?
What's the semantical difference between H2O?
Dude, look. I'll tell you there's a semantic. So if you actually open naming and necessity, and if you look at what Kripke assesses, and Kripke has this under what synthetic necessary truths. Do you know what syntheticism is?
Yeah, it's going to be empirical, but like you're going to know.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly. And how did we derive, G1, how did we derive water being H2O?
Free experience. There isn't going to
be exactly. It's not definitional. Exactly. Just a moment. So Kripke, one moment. So Kripke, hold on. Kripke even says this. He says, given the time for instance, the Greeks and the Egyptians, they didn't know water is H2O, but the term water still carried the same ontological content as H2O. That's why it's a synthetic necessary truth. So that's why it doesn't matter how our empiricism is observed. same thing I'm talking about with respect to the persons. The example could be with respect to a lot of more things, Superman and Lois Lane, and other opaque contexts too. But opaque contexts have to do with attitudes towards a proposition. That's connotative content. I'm talking about denotative content that refer to an object.
Yeah, I know you're talking about denotative content when it refers to the object. And the reason why I was talking about the war example is because, of course, right, the way, even when you read Kripke and also Hayes, he actually comments on Kripke as well. He says, oh yeah, of course, like epistemically speaking, there is possible for like the word, what's it called, the content, or let's say the thing which is deemed to be water to be like named or different. In that
that's why it's synthetic. That's the entire point.
Yeah, I know. That's why I know.
Yeah, so again,
what water is, there isn't going to be like a different definition when it comes to
the thing is, do you think
point that I was making.
I don't know. I doubt that was the point you were trying to make.
Yes,
but listen,
that was the
thing
point
is,
I was trying to make.
Because that, no, hold on. Because again, when it's talking about semantical difference, that extends to every single possible stipulation of a possible attitude towards a proposition. That's what it's talking about. So I don't know. I think it's just like a vague way of assessing water and H2O identity statements.
No.
Anyways, so again, hold on. The thing is, look.
Wait. The possible. Wait, hold on. Because even when you read Kripke, right, he's going to say that when it comes to like water being H2O, right, it's going to be like a necessary truth. So even when you talk about possible worlds,
yeah, I know. He even gives the example. He even gives the example of what if H2O was called XYZ. I know this, dude. You're sending me stuff I know.
Yeah,
but again, that doesn't negate my point.
Well.
One moment. That doesn't negate my point because there's no semantic reduction. That is the entire point. Do you even know what semantic reduction is?
I don't know how you define it. How you define semantic reduction?
Dude, okay, so you don't look. If you don't know what I'm talking about, tell me. Ask me. What do you mean? Don't just.
I don't know the term. Just be weird.
Semantic reduction. Semantic reduction is with respect to connotative content. It's going to be by implicated with any mode of significance therein. So, for example, water. Take the example of bachelors on unmarried men. That semantic content right there is by implicated. So, whatever instance stipulation you think of bachelor, you're going to think of unmarried man. That stipulation stands true with the semantic content. But look, this is all tangential because one moment. Let me finish. This is all tangential. Let me finish. This is all tangential because, look, the point here is you believe the persons are not semantically reduced, which is fine. But my argument cashes it out, again, for the plethora of times I've repeated this, it cashes it out under an extensional lens. You have the persons who I believe, I've given you the counter function which you still haven't addressed, which is because the function of opposition satisfied an equivalency relation with the act of existence, the absolute act of existence, hence the function carries over, and I've given you an account therein, and I've assessed the appeal to of what is called the function of opposition, and I've cashed out my argument still, which is given that the sun doesn't satisfy an equivalency relation with pure existence, in the sense that the sun doesn't satisfy equivalency relation with paternity, which is pure existence, but it is assumed that the sun is satisfactory of an equivalency relation between that and pure existence, you're going to have a performative contradiction of saying the sun is not equivalent to what is assumed to be equivalent to.
Yeah, like I find that the identity which is being assumed here isn't something which I accept. Like,
what?
I don't know if I accept RI, like a relative identity. Did you know that?
Wait, hold on. So look, when you're talking about the object of God, what is the account of sameness? Is it a referential sameness?
It's going to be sameness like in Soto.
Okay, so you could have said that in the beginning. So
really, I could have said that in the beginning. It was already presupposed.
No. One more. No. I'll tell you why. Look, but it is it is supposed, yes, but it's a conventional supposition. I'll tell you why. Because that's what the law of identity. One moment. That's what the law of identity is. It's a biconditional that sautifies Leibniz's law. That's what Tarski says the law of identity is.
I don't take it like
one more. There's no. I don't take it. That's what every logician believes.
So okay.
So one moment. Let's. I've given you one, Tarski. So listen. Look.
Okay. Hold on. So okay. Cool. So when it comes to Leibniz's law, okay, define it. Right. So.
Define it. If an equivalency relation, one moment, okay. If an equivalency relation is satisfied between two entities or two terms, the same truth is biconditional.
Okay, cool. So
yeah, exactly. So one moment. I just want to expand. Hold on. So I just want to expand. So basically, Tarski said this, and lots of other people said this. That's number one. Number two, if you want to appeal to relative identity, my argument cashes this out under not relative identity, cashes it out under numeric identity. If you want to cash it out under relative identity, I have a different appeal. So when you say it's not under referential sameness, it's under a sortal, what is the account of constitution here? Because numeric identity posits an account. Relative identity does not posit an account. It posits an account if and only if there's material constitution. I'll give you an example. There exists two human beings such that two human beings is what is called share the property of humanity. But does that mean they share the same essential property of humanity too? But does that mean they're the same object? No, it does not. That is what Quine says, that what is it called, within these contexts of identity of sortals, you need material constitution, i.e. these human beings don't share the same object, and you can give an account of identity of sortal for a human being at 1 year of age and 50 by virtue of material constitution, i.e. what they're made out of, some matter, right, their material constitution. So given that you believe God is transcendent, what is the account of sameness here, since there's no referential sameness?
So you're saying when it comes to okay, cool. So you're saying when it comes to RI, like it's only going to be reduced to like some type of like.
Wait, give me one moment. I gotta charge my phone. I don't want to disconnect. Hold on.
Someone in the comment section said, "Why is Rissa here? She can't even understand it."
No one said that. Sanzo, in fact, could you summarize what they've been talking about up until this point? Since they're so smart.
Yeah, after the live.
No.
Essentially, G1 is failing to justify. Essentially, G1 is failing to justify. Can I finish my sentence? Essentially, G1 is failing to justify the distinction that apparently is there, and when asked to justify his distinction, he's simply saying it is because it is.
No, so
that's literally what everybody understands.
So up until this point,
that is literally what we all understood. There's
defending a point that he didn't even make. It was a presupposition.
No. There's no presupposition. G1, we're asking you to substantiate your distinction, and you're failing to do so. Now, how is the Father distinct? Essentially, they're the same people.
No,
same person. That's what we all understand.
So
the Father is the Son. The Son is because you're failing to show us a real distinction.
You're a liar.
I'm so sorry.
My bad for taking long. There was like 1 minute, 2 minutes. Anyway, yeah. So you got my point, or they have to reiterate it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Wait, no, I just want to.
Can you tell him your point, please, G1? Can you tell him his point? Okay, G1, you say you got it.
Yeah. So 1 minute. G1, reiterate my point so we can further the dialectic.
Well, reiterate your point. You say, oh yeah, when it comes to I, like or I, like suppose it's like some material constitution. An example you gave.
I didn't say that.
That isn't what you said. So that's legit. I was going to clarify. Is that what you indicate? So what was your point?
Oh my God! Look, listen. I said RI doesn't give a constitutive account like numeric identity does. Numeric identity gives a constitutive account, which is predicate property and so on. But the thing is, with respect to sortals, that's not going to give a constitutive account. And this is why Quine says, what is it called? Constitution only occurs within relative identity contexts, if and only if there's material constitution. Now, given you believe God is hyper-transcendent, he's not subject to material constitution. What is the account of constitution there? What is the account of sameness in object? There is no account. That is why relative identity appeal, given that you believe God is in a synchronic context and not a diachronic context, given that you believe there's no material constitution to satisfy the constitution of God's and whatever sortal object that satisfies the sortal and so on, it's not going to tell me much. It's going to be more probably than not, it's just gibberish.
Yeah, so the type of like, wait. So you say when it comes to like Quine's view of it, he says that it supposes some type of like, so the Constitution, like, okay, when it comes to the numerical account, what's the Constitution that respects? I can understand the point which you're trying to make when it comes to I.
I've given you the constitutive account. It's going to be referential sameness.
So the referential sameness is going to be the Constitution.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, one moment. The thing is, what is the account of sameness here and the object? Because if there's no look, I've already walked you through the objection. There is no material constitution. You believe God is not materially constituted, And that's number one. Number two, what even makes your case worse is that relative identity is applied on stuff like identity over time. And so you don't believe God is within time. You believe God is a synchronic context statically. There is not a single possible world where God is in time for you.
Yeah,
now, hold on. And now there's no account of diachronicity, nor there's an account of material constitution. By what virtue are they the same in object? You're not giving me an account because I've told you, just telling me an essential property that is shared is not going to tell me much. The same thing with human beings. 7 billion human beings could be sharing the essential property of humanity. But are they the same human being? No, that's just stupid.
But that wouldn't mean they're the same human being because there's going to be...
Yeah, that is my point, exactly. So one minute satisfying a certain class of predicates...
This is going to be in the property. What are you talking about?
One moment, the satisfying a certain class of predicates is not going to tell me much. It's not going to tell me that you're the same object. That is the point. Because telling me G1 and Vienna satisfy humanity is not going to mean G1 and Vienna are the same object. That is the entire point. If you tell me the persons and are satisfactory of some certain class of predicates, it's not going to tell me they're the same object. So that is my entire point. That's what I'm furthering through. You're confirming my point. What is an account of relative identity that wants to give a constitutive account, i.e. same object, they're going to posit like Vienna at T1 and Vienna at T50. They are one and the same because of material constitution. And that can be cashed out given, what is it called? Like, I don't know, my body, some material constitution, whatever you want to class it there. But you don't believe there's material constitution for God. That's blasphemy for you. Nor do you believe God isn't within diachronicity.
Wait. So when it comes to the concept, so when it comes to I, what's the constitution for I again? What you suggested?
For I?
Yeah, RI, bro, relative identity.
Oh, what are you asking here, my bad?
What's the constitution for relative identity, bro?
Oh, I'm saying constitution only occurs if and only if there's material constitution.
And you're saying this is derived from what? Quine?
Yeah, I know. But thing is, look, dude.
I'm not taking Quine's understanding of it. What are you talking about?
Dude, you could take nobody's understanding of it, okay? But thing is, look, that's not my point. Dude, that's not my point. I'm not saying... No, G1, you didn't understand me. I didn't say Quine said this, therefore he's right. No, I'm giving literature sources to actually... One minute. I'm giving literature sources to show... Dude, why are you interrupting?
Because I had a cool, bro. Repeat yourself. What the heck?
Oh, my bad. Dude, like, relax. Why are you like getting upset? Anyways, listen.
Because you're not listening. What the heck?
Anyways, so RI, what is it called? Again, it's not going to tell me. What sort of is a class of predicates. Telling me the persons are satisfactory of some certain class of predicates, it's not going to tell me they're the same object. What's going to tell me they're the same object is some sort of material constitutive account, because a constitutive account of numeric identity is thrown out the window now. The best choice we have is a material constitutive account, which is what relative identity theorists appeal to give a constitutive account. It's the same example I've given you. G1 and Vienna and everybody in this panel, everybody on Earth, for the last 50 million years, satisfy the what is called some certain class of predicates of humanity and rationality and so on. Does that mean we're the same object? No, the fuck it does not. It is so stupid.
Yeah, so when you're saying, okay, cool. Yeah, I understand. So you're saying, so how is object being understood? Because the way you're kind of like, it's going to induce an object to be is like some material thing. So is that what you mean? Like,
do it. Look, listen. Object, what is it called? Object, given numeric identity, is going to utilize numeric identity to, to get the sense of referential sameness. But that counter sameness under relative identity, i.e. sameness in object, it's not going to, it relies on other things like diachronicity and material constitution to further, to further probability of them being the one and the same in object. For example, take the lump of clay. I can give you material constitution of that. There's clay, blocks, and so on. Hence, they're materially constitutive, and I can give an account of time. The clay loses some of its parts, doesn't lose some of its parts. It lives, it dies, and so on. That is the entire point. You do not say that for God. You believe God is hyper-transcendent. What is the account of sameness here? You cannot just throw identity solos and that's it. That's not going to tell me much. Or else it's the same object given your identity theory, which is stupid. You don't want to say that. Because just satisfying a certain set of class of predicates is not going to tell me much about them being. It's not an account of sameness in an object.
Account of sameness. I don't understand the way in which you're inducing object to be in this case. Because you
Oh my God!
hold on. So you're saying object is
dude, have you read anything outside of scholasticism?
outside of scholasticism here and there. But then again, hold up.
Okay, I'll make it more
no,
simple for you. Take object to be like a substance here, an Aristotelian term, something that is self-subsisting and it can endure accidents and so on and live through itself and so on. You get what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, yeah. So you just so when you're talking about object, so okay, cool. So you're saying that when it comes to like relative identity, it's gonna suppose like some material constitution, meaning that like
Not suppose. I just said for constitution, it's gonna hinge on material constitution. Those are two different
I don't
things.
see how that can be the case. Like, why can't like the property be what is like satisfies like the sameness and thing in that certain respect?
Yeah, dude, I already told you because that's not gonna tell me much. The same way 8 billion human beings can satisfy some certain properties that are essential to human being, but that's not gonna dude, that's not gonna say 8 billion human beings are the same object now. That is so stupid.
That doesn't no, but that wouldn't mean but they're gonna be the same object or the same substance. Because we're just saying
but dude, you're confirming my point. I'm saying constitutive accounts is more than just satisfying some certain class of predicates. It needs more than that. It needs constitution. Now, given you neglected numeric identity, now what is the constitutive account outside of numeric identity is material constitution, like the lump of clay example I've given you.
nah. So you're saying I don't really see it though, because when we look at what's called Peter Gage.
Okay, one moment. Listen, look, let me walk you through. Look, G1, are me and you the same object?
No, we're not the same object. You think object to be substance? No.
Why?
The reason why is because we have like properties which differ.
Yeah, but we have properties that we share. We both have the essential property of humanity. We satisfy. If I take a sordo, if I take a sordo and I say this object is whatever that satisfies the class of predicates, i.e., the property of like what is called the property of humanity or the property of rationality in conjunction of both. Does that mean we're the same object now? No, that's just gibberish. That's not going to tell me much.
Yeah, because you asked me the reason. Like you asked me why are we different? It's because there's properties in which we have or possess which allows us to be diverse. So yeah, of course.
Yeah, that is my dude. You don't get it. You don't get it. What you're listening, you don't get it. If given somebody who abuses identity of sorrows in in such a nonsensical way and says, hey, we just G1 of Vienna. It doesn't matter. You have different properties. You satisfy a certain class of predicates, i.e. rationality or humanity and so on. You must be the same. You're identical under a sordo. No, that's not going to tell me much because identity within sordos, if you want a constitutive account, you need something like what is called material constitution, because in numeric constitution, the constitutive account given by numeric identity is out the window. And that's why relative identity given in a broader scope, like the one I just cashed out, would be, for example, like identity of sorrows under categorization, or something like T1 and T50 of a human being's life is going to be under some diachronic context, and is going to suppose material constitution, and the account is time in conjunction with material constitution.
So
none of that is present with your conception of God.
No, it's going to be wait, hold on, because you're giving because the examples of what you're giving is just going to be in reference to like you know what principle individuation is.
Yeah, but dude, that's not going to tell me much.
Hold on. Because now I think I'm starting to understand what you're saying, especially how you like what's called defined it, especially you use like a scholastic term, right? So you're just saying, okay, cool. When it comes to me being like an individual in respect to not being you in a certain respect, right? You're just saying, oh yeah, when it comes to me not being you, right, it's going to be like matter in which individuates me, which allows me to not be you, which is
under relative identity, sure, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. But then so if the constitution is going to be like, so in order for like a thing to be the same as this thing, then it's going to indicate that the thing itself has the same property, which satisfies the thing to be identical in a certain respect, right? And if it's not this thing, right, or it's going to have like a property which allows it to be diverse in a different respect, and which allow us to say like, oh yeah, me and you are not the same. Because that's how I take like RI to be. In
yeah,
way.
But dude, RI doesn't give a constitutive account. Material constitution allows RI to give constitutive accounts. So I don't know. One moment, there's no hold on. That is why under relative identity, the Trinity, there's no account of sameness in object. There's no account of diachronicity because God is transcendent over time, and there's no account of material constitution. You don't want to say God is made out of matter. So what is it called? What is the sameness in object given the numeric identity is not present to give a constitutive account there?
Oh, okay, so you're saying that when it comes to like sameness in object, you're just talking about the individual object itself, right?
Yeah.
So I think the account is just going to be implicative when it comes to because if we're just saying that, okay, cool, in order for like this thing to be identical to this thing, right, then we're just going to say like there's a property in which this thing refers.
Yeah, but dude, I addressed that like a billion times. Bro, dude, look, with all due respect, I addressed it like a billion times. I told you, yes, if you tell me they satisfy some certain class of predicates, i.e., like, what is it called? Let's take the predicate or property of like humanity and rationality and so on, that's not going to give me a constitutive account, because humanity and rationality are essential properties of every human being, even under your framework. Me and you satisfy that. Does that mean we're the same object? Does that mean every single human being are the same object now? No, that's stupid and gibberish. That is my point. Sameness in some certain class of predicates is not going to tell me about sameness in object. You need a constitutive account.
Yo, I didn't hear what you said. But what's it called? I have to go in, 1 minute, right?
Okay.
Yeah. What's it called? Add me in and we just carry on this conversation when I get back on.
Okay,
Wait,
sure.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Wait, no, man, I have to go, bro. I have to go.
Close. Right, see you later.